As election protests continue in Iran, the pastor of the Iranian Christian Church of Colorado tells CBN News the hardline Islamic regime in Iran has actually caused many Muslims to turn away from Islam and come to know Jesus Christ.
The emails and contacts I have from within the country, believers were very much for Mousavi. They were really very much for the reformist. And so there's an instinct that all of us would have, wouldn't this is wonderful, and certainly from a human point of view it is. However, this regime as it is has created one of the most amazing environments for people seeking God. And in this regime, God has, Christ specifically has manifested himself in visions and dreams and amazing answers to prayer, and people who were totally close to the gospel, in a sense, seeking and looking for Christ.
And in the midst of all the disillusionment and political unrest, Christianity is spreading quickly across Iran.
Gary Lane traveled there recently and got this exclusive look at the growing house church movement. He has tonight's Focus Report.
The idea behind the Iranian Revolution was to establish the world's first modern state governed solely by Islamic law. Ayatollah Khomeini believed a more prosperous society could be created if the Iranian people and their government adhered to tenets of the Quran. But 30 years on, the revolution is faltering, and many Iranians are disillusioned. They've taken to the streets to protest a stolen election and government corruption. Todd Nettleton is with the Voice of the Martyrs.
The people look around, they see the poverty, they see the discontent, they're not happy, and so they have questions. Well, why isn't it working out? You know, we're doing it the Islamic way. Why isn't our country great? And so they are ripe to hear a new way.
And the new way many are embracing is Christianity. But the faith is not new to Iran. The gospel actually arrived here 500 years before Islam. Persians are believed to have been among those in Jerusalem at Pentecost. Less than 0.5% of the Iranian population is Christian. There were nearly 4 times as many Christians just before the Islamic Revolution. But many fled the country because of Islamic extremism. Some of those who remain often share their faith with Muslims. As a result, the evangelical house church movement is now growing rapidly. Christian praise songs blast from the cassette player of this Iranian taxicab. The driver is a Muslim convert to Christianity. Despite risk of arrest and possible death for apostasy, he's unafraid to share his faith. A cross hangs from his rearview mirror. He keeps his Bible on the front passenger seat beside a can of STP gas treatment. He shares the gospel with his passengers and gives them a Bible if they want one. That alone could lead to his arrest. Other Christians have been martyred for sharing their faith with Muslims. It's not established churches that the Iranian government fears most, but the rapid growth of unregistered churches. President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad is so concerned that he has made it his aim to stop the house church movement, declaring, "I will stop Christianity in this country." Starting in 2005, he launched an unmerciful crackdown against Iranian house churches. At least 50 house church leaders were believed arrested last year. And last summer, a war veteran and his wife died from beatings they received during a raid on their house church meeting in the city of Isfahan. Also, a little over a year ago, Christian Tina Rad and her husband were arrested and severely beaten. Held for 4 days, they were accused of committing activities against Islam and Iranian national security. Both are former Muslims. We promised to protect the identity of this house church leader. She said the crackdown has caused Christians to grow stronger and more serious. God is testing our faith because he wants us to become more like Jesus, she said. The house churches are now meeting in smaller groups. Nettleton says, while Ahmadinejad is trying desperately to halt church growth, his crackdown is actually having an opposite effect because Christians are moving around more. And Christians say protests and unrest like this will only lead to more of this. Gary Lane, CBN News.